Curriculum Implementation Division. May I now give the floor to our CID Chief, Ma'am Aurelia B. Marquez.
To be Allow me to present the Curriculum and Implementation Division issues and concerns this regular Division Management Committee meeting. To begin with, let's have the issues and concerns given by APS Nancy J. Alaska English, SPED, and Kindergarten program for school year 2021-2022, bounded by legal basis and key players. Please start finalizing the outcome of interventions provided among your target learners, which should be in concurrence with your field area result. Development of competency-based assessment tool and performance tasks for grades 3, 6, and 10 with Regional Memorandum Number 22 Series of 2022. This is only for the concerned development team. Kindly follow the suggested timeline and flow of submission in every grade levels to meet both offices' expectations. It is our pride and honor to present the 2022 Mimaro Parangal Sinag Kausayang Brigada Pagbasa Best Implementing Schools. First is Project Hub of Marikit Elementary School with the support of outstanding partner organization Links, Building Bridges for Children, and Project KLDR of Princess Orduha National High School, which means Kabataang Princess Orduha Legit Distance Readers. Congratulations, and we are all proud of you. For CID Kindergarten, submission of District Consolidated Report and Pre- and Post-Test ECD for school year 2021-2022. You have the legal basis and the key players. We are requesting the kindergarten learners with overall developmental delays should be the learners who will be administered with MFAT by the next opening of classes. Now let's proceed to CID SPED. The following must be considered in tagging the LWDs and EBEIS. A. Formally assessed, ID, ASD, HI, VI, multiple disability, etc. And B. Manifestations. You have the difficulty in hearing, seeing, applying basic knowledge, reading, mobility, etc. You are bounded with debit memorandum with the key players. Please designate teachers to take charge of LWDs and submit the needed report for inclusive program. Regarding the issues and concerns of EPS in Arabiling Panlipunan, Pedro J. Dandal Jr. and ALS focal person. CID ALS. Submission of fiscal year 2022 list of ALS teachers for the provision of transportation and special hardship allowance. Please be guided with the legal basis and key players. APSS, PSDSS, EPSAS, ALS Facilitator facilitate early submission. And all PSDSS are requested to support the said activity. Submission of competency-based assessment and performance task materials in ALS crafting of learning activity sheets with Regional Memorandum Number 22, Series of 2022. You have the key players here. Same with the recommendations and remarks. All PSDSs are requested to support the said activity. implementation of Write-up on the development of session guides for the training of ALS teachers on the pilot implementation of contextualized MELC-based ALS senior high school curriculum. Legal basis on the memorandum to all regional directors from G.H. Ambat, Assistant Secretary on Alternative Learning System. And given here are the key players. All school heads, both elementary and secondary, should support the ALS senior high school. Now let's proceed to Araling Panlipunan. Submission of crafted competency-based assessment and performance task materials in Araling Panlipunan together with MAPE. You are bounded with the legal basis and the key players. For the recommendation, AP District Coordinator and PSDS, please coordinate and guide our teacher writers. Now let's proceed to issues and concerns given by APS, Rogie S. de Malinaw, MTV, MLE, MEP, Alive, ADM, OH, SP. Regarding MTB MLE, submission of program implementation status for MTB MLE using Word file with pictures. You have the key players. Reminders, deadline of submission is second week of June 2022. Submission of accomplishment report for school year 2021-2022. The deadline of submission is on the second week of June 2022. For Kuyunan Spelling Guide, Kuyunan Bilingual Dictionary, Kuyunan Short Stories, and Kuyunan Orthography, with legal basis on Division Memorandum Number 046 Series of 2022, and our key players are the MTB MLE Division Coordinator, PSDS of Cuyo and Magsaysay districts. Facilitate with the in-charge. For ADM OHSP, submission of program implementation status for schools implementing ADM OHSP using Word file with pictures. You have the key players here with the deadline on second week of June 2022. Submission of accomplishment report for school year 2021-2022 for ADM OHSP with the same key players and the same schedule of deadline that will be on the second week of June 2022. Upcoming write-up for the contextualized worksheets for ADM OHSP. Legal basis, the division memorandum will be to follow. You have also here the key players. To be conducted on June 6 to 10, 2022 at Puerto Princesa City. MEP Alive. Submission of program implementation on status for Alive using Word file with pictures. You have the key players here. The deadline of submission is on the second week of June 2022. On the basis of submission of accomplishment report for school year 2021-2022, the deadline of submission is also on the second week of June 2022. Submission of edited Kindergarten Alive learning activity sheets, requesting Principal Erlene Bacosa and Principal Fe Inog to facilitate. And now let's proceed to the issues and concerns in mathematics by EPS, Astrid, and Agbanlog. Project Kumustahan sa Paaralan Report for the third quarter, school year 2021-2022. Regional Memorandum dated January 2022 with the key players. Close monitoring across learning areas for those learners who did not meet the expectations during the third quarter. On the development of math storybook for the activity Magbasa at Magkwenta under the project Mas Talinong Palawenyo. You have the legal basis here and the key players, which happened at Costa Palawan Resort last April 19 to 22, 2022. Writers and illustrators should submit 3 math storybook per quarter for grades 1, 2, and 3. The development of learning activity sheets or LAS for the activity Assist Me quickly under the project Math TLAP with legal basis and the key players. Writers, illustrators should submit 3 math storybook per quarter for grades 1 to 3. Development of competency-based assessment tool and performance tasks for grade 9 on the legal basis of Regional Memorandum Number 22, Series of 2022. You have the key players here. So SDO Palawan assigned in grade 9 quarters 1 to 4 in the development of CBAT and performance task. All teacher writers and other members of the development team must follow the timeline. Let's move on to issues and concerns in science under EPS Rosalyn C. Gadiano. For the schedule of face-to-face qualifying tests for grade 7 entrance to School Implementing Science, Technology, and Engineering program and Special Science class or the SSC for the school year 2022-2023, you have the Regional Memorandum Number 33 Series of 2022 and the Division Memorandum. Given also here are the key players. Please see the schedule of the test administration. And due to the conflict of activity with the division checking of school forms, some test schedules will be adjusted. A correndum will be issued regarding the final schedule. Please be guided with the list of testing schools, the specific date, the time, and the chief examiner. Division Orientation Workshop on Developing Science Investigatory Projects with Robotics Integration. You have the legal basis and the key pairs. Participants to prepare in advance research proposal in line with robotics. Submission of entries for the Division Science and Technology Fair in preparation for the Regional Science and Technology Fair with DepEd Order Number 38, Series of 2022, entitled National Science and Technology Fair. Here are your key players. So all concerned are enjoined to support the activity by encouraging potential learners and their science teachers to participate in the division contest. Issues and concerns in Filipino given by EPS Nora A. Nangit. Submission of reading report on the pre and post test for school year 2021-2022, bounded by Philippine Informal Reading Inventory as our legal basis. And your key players are also noted here. Submit report as soon as possible and use the prescribed template. Division Advisory Kampiyon ng Wika 2022 at Dangal ng Wikang Filipino 2022. The legal basis is here together with the key players. Please be guided with the specific link where you are supposed to submit. Let's move on to testing IPED, HGP, CGP, issues and concerns under EPS Allen G. Gunda. CID Homeroom Guidance Program. Submission of a homeroom guidance school implementation using Annex 2 by all elementary and secondary schools to be consolidated by the District ESP Coordinator, due on June 15, 2022. Please be guided with the legal basis and the key players. PSDSS and District ESP Coordinators to facilitate early submission. Submission of all secondary schools career guidance program reported by all secondary schools using Annex C and to be consolidated by the District ESP Coordinator using Annex D due on June 15, 2022. You have the legal basis and key players. PSDSS and District ESP Coordinators, please facilitate early submission. Still on CID Career Guidance Program. Online response of all grade 12 graduates on curriculum exit tracking system due on June 24 to July 2, 2022. Please be guided with legal basis and the key players. PSDSS District ASP coordinators. The school has grade 12 advisors, the guidance designates and advocates for strict compliance of grade 12. Under CID testing, schedule of administration of CBAPT Batch 2 to be conducted on the last week of June 2022. PSDSS and District Testing Coordinators, please take notes. Certificates of recognition to be awarded to as number 1, Regular School Testing Center for CBAPT. Number 2, Key Testing Personnel. And number 3, Division Technical Working Group. Signed certificates will be sent to the 21 testing centers through PSDSS via email. And now, issues and concerns given by Cian A. Catello, Division EPTLE Coordinator. Participation of the Schools Division of Palawan to the DepEd Second Memorapa Techno Skill Showcase. With legal basis and the key players are the selected TLE-TVL teachers from NARA, IS, and Sandoval National High School and selected EPP TLE-TVL teachers. Thank you so much for the full support of the school heads on this endeavor. The conduct of the innovative project called OSOP, or One School, One Product Service, with DM number 172 series of 2022. 50% of schools offering different specializations under EPP-TLE-TBL with a specific time frame. Full support of the school heads on this endeavor are highly requested. For senior high school, conduct of the division-wide project entitled Trabaho para sa Kinabukasan, with approved project proposal entitled Trabaho para sa Kinabukasan, or TPK. Kindly take note of the key players and the time frame. Multi-grade under EPS Clemencia G. Paduga. The status of multi-grade classes in preparation for the expanded face-to-face classes this school year 2021-2022. Please take note of the DepEd order as well as the key players. Each multi-grade teacher is requested to submit a proposed multi-grade class program for the expansion of face-to-face classes this opening of classes 2022-2023. This will be submitted to their respective district for consolidation or to come up with the district unified multi-grade class program based on the joint circular and in local setting. This will be submitted to EPS in multi-grade for comments and suggestions. The printing and binding of multi-grade learning activity sheets in English, Science, and Mathematics, as well as the division orientation training on its utilization. Legal basis and key players are here. The breakdown budget allocated from the CO and regional office was adjusted in the local price budgetary requirement to avoid failure of bidding. The certificate of participation and recognition from SDO and regional office to be claimed in the division office through the multi-grade focal person. Take note of the legal basis and the key players. Now, to all the concerned, please claim the said certificates when you have official business to the division office or have authorized trusted person to claim. Regarding LR matters, let us have ABS Meritorious C. Castro's report. Designated District and School LR Coordinator, kindly fill up the link provided. And on the status of self-learning modules, there is a letter request to Schools Division Superintendent dated May 18, 2022, because we have insufficient funds to deliver the SLMs to different schools. The LR Coordinator is requesting funds for truck hire delivery services of self-learning modules. Conduct of K-12 basic education program end of school year rights for school year 2021-2022 in light of the COVID-19 public health emergency. The Department of Education announces the conduct of the school year 2021-2022 end of school year rights for kindergarten, grade 6 and grade 10 up to grade 12 learners who shall satisfactorily meet the curriculum requirements at the end of school year 2021-2022, including the learners who passed the portfolio assessment in the alternative learning system, elementary and junior high school levels, by virtue of the joint memorandum DM OUCI 2021-049 and all senior high school learners who shall meet the curriculum requirements. The theme of the school year 2021-2022 end of school year rights shall be graduate ng K-12 masigasig sa mga pangarap at matatag sa mga pagsubok. K-12 graduates pursuing dreams and fostering resilience in the face of adversity, which emphasizes that despite the risks and uncertainty brought by COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the challenges it has posed on education, Filipino learners remain resolute in their desire to build a better future anchored on a clear vision. With reference to Debit Order Number 029 Series 2021, also known as the School Calendar and Activities for School Year 2021-2022, Quarter 4 shall end on June 24, 2022. The schools that did not suspend classes, the end of school year rights, shall be any of the dates from June 27 to July 2, 2022. Private schools may implement the schedule as reflected in their respective school calendars. Schools that declared suspension of classes in response to the MCI 2022-009 reiterating the policy on academic ease and allowing the suspension of classes and other teaching-related activities in the midst of the surge in COVID-19 cases shall make the necessary adjustments to the school calendar to ensure that the number of days in the current school year remains consistent with Republic Act Number 11480 and Act amending Section 3 of RA 7797, otherwise known as an act to lengthen the school calendar from 200 days, not more than 220 class days. If classes were suspended to 1 week, then the end of school year rights may be on any of the dates from July 4 to July 9, 2022. In assessing the viability of conducting school year 2021-2022 end of school year rights, public health and safety are still deemed the topmost concern amidst the ongoing progress in COVID-19 testing and vaccination. Hence, the scenarios projected by the Department of Health and the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, complemented by other credible sources and depth risk assessment, shall be considered. Should the public health situation prevent the conduct of this school year's end of school year rights within the said week, schools, in consultation with the Parents Teachers Association, may choose to reschedule or forego the activity. Private schools shall be guided by their approved or revised school calendar. To ensure the protection of the health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, personnel, as well as parents and other stakeholders, the face-to-face conduct of the end of school year rights is highly discouraged. However, schools and community learning centers in alert levels 1 and 2, and in consultation with the local government unit, as well as parents, guardians, may opt to hold a limited face-to-face or hybrid ceremony with strict compliance to the IATA protocols to give learners a sense of normalcy without risking their health and safety. Schools must obtain parental consent for learners to attend the face-to-face ceremony. When applicable, schools in alert levels 3, 4, and 5 shall hold their virtual end of school year rights, and with the consent of the parents, they may live stream the end of school year rights via appropriate online platforms. The following measures must be strictly observed at all times. First, face masks must be worn throughout the entire event. Second, at least 1 meter safe distance must be observed between individuals. Third, participants must be seated at their assigned seats only. Fourth, handshake or any other forms of physical contact is discouraged. And last, only the parents or one designated guardian shall be permitted to accompany a mover or candidate for graduation. The virtual conduct of end school year rides may be an option for schools and CLCs whenever feasible. Schools and CLCs may prepare a short program that will run in not more than 2 hours in consideration of the internet connectivity required. Only the completers, candidates for graduation, together with their parents, guardians, teachers, school officials, and invited guests, shall be present during the virtual rites. Schools, with the consent of parents, have the option to live stream the virtual end of school year rites via appropriate online platforms. The recognition rites for other grade levels may also be conducted virtually or on a limited face-to-face setup. However, if done on a limited face-to-face setup, it must be conducted separately from the graduation rites or moving up to completion ceremony to ensure physical distancing and adherence to IATF health protocols. Schools shall ensure that the end of school year rites are conducted in a solemn and dignified manner and shall not be used as a political forum. A. DepEd reiterates the strict compliance with DepEd Order Number 48 Series of 2018 titled Prohibition of Electioneering and Partisan Political Activity. B. Invited guest speakers must focus their messages on the theme of this year's end of school year rites. They must be advised not to campaign for anyone or any political party. C. Schools shall ensure that no election-related paraphernalia, such as streamers, posters, stickers, or other election-related items, are distributed or displayed within the school premises or online. For the public schools, expenses to be incurred relative to the conduct of the activity shall be charged to the maintenance and other operating expenses or MOOE of the school. No DepEd official or personnel shall be allowed to collect graduation fees or any kind of contribution for moving up, completion ceremony, or recognition rites. The multi-year implementing guidelines on the conduct of the K-12 basic education program end of school year rights enclosed in DepEd Order Number 002, Series 2020, remains in force and in effect, except for the grant of academic awards and performance awards for kindergarten. Separate guidelines amending certain provisions in DepEd Order Number 018, Series of 2021, titled Interim Guidelines on Giving of Awards and Recognition in Light of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan for the school year 2020-2021 shall be issued. Let's proceed on the resumption of the implementation of the policy on checking of school forms as prescribed in DepEd Order Number 11 Series 2018. Attached is DepEd Memorandum Number 037, Series 2022, dated April 22, 2022, on resumption of implementation of the policy on checking of school forms as prescribed in DepEd Order Number 11, Series 2018, for your information and appropriate action. In view of this, please be guided of the composition of the Division Checking Committee, who shall be involved in the checking task. It is emphasized that the public schools district supervisors shall take charge of the checking of forms in their respective districts, as well as extend technical assistance to the school checking committee. Kindly take note of the Division Checking Committee, districts, the date, the venue for checking, and the Division Checking Committee. Aborlan, Nara, and Quezon. Araceli, Dumaran Mainland. For Balabac, Bataraza, District 1 and District 2. Coron, Busuanga, and Culion. Brooks Point North and South. Sopronia Española. Cuyo, Agutaya, and Magsaysay. Rizal. Rojas Central North and South, and San Vicente. Taytay 1, 2, and 3, Linapakan, El Nido North and South. Traveling expenses of participants from the schools shall be charged against school MOE or local fund, while the division personnel shall be charged against division MOE, subject to the usual accounting and auditing rules and regulation. In support to the implementation of Basic Education Continuity Plan, the Department of Education issued the interim guidelines on the preparation, submission, and checking of school forms for school year 2021-2022 through the Debit Memorandum Number 014/2021. The interim guidelines introduced the customized set of school forms that gather information relevant to the delivery of distance learning through various modalities at the school level. These interim guidelines suspended the conduct of physical checking of school forms and only allowed the virtual online checking instead at the school level by the School Checking Committee as a measure to protect the health and wellness of school personnel against COVID-19. As the COVID-19 situation in the country continues to get better, resulting to gradual easing of restrictions, the department is resuming the on-site conduct of the annual checking of school forms for school year 2021-2022 with the participation of the Division Checking Committee. This is in pursuance to Debit Order Number 11/2018 titled Guidelines on the Preparation and Checking of School Forms, particularly Section 5, Paragraph A1, B2, and C2. Without prejudice to the national local government imposed protocols and restrictions pertaining to physical reporting to schools and offices, the checking committee shall perform the physical checking of school forms with the presence of the class advisor and examinee for document vis-a-vis the learner information system data as appropriate. Below are the allowed activities during the checking depending on IATF assessment of alert levels. For alert level 1, alert level 2, and alert level 3 and above. At the end of the checking activity, the Division Checking Committee shall ensure that the school forms checking reports are properly prepared and submitted to the Office of the School's Division Superintendent as per Debit Order Number 11/2018, Section 5, Paragraph C2. The Division Checking Committee is also instructed to include in their activity report the observed implementation of the following recently issued policies related to the school report preparations and LIS updating. First, on the focus of validation, kinder age cutoff, public and private schools. All learners must be encoded in LIS, especially kindergarten. You have to validate report that some schools are accepting underage learner for kinder and deliberately hide in the system to avoid being detected. So here are the policy references. Proper preparation of SF10, such as but not limited to no insertion of school logo. In case of transferred out, transmission of original copy of SF10 with available grading boxes for continuous upgrading, except grade 6 and 10 completers. Transfer of document within 30 days upon receipt of system notification of transfer through LIS tracking system. Reminders that school heads that the written request of transfer is no longer needed or required if LIS notification is available. Update learner status in LIS tracking system through confirmation of request for transfer, including learners with unsettled account from private school. Compliance monitoring report shall indicate the following information using suggested format below. For area of validation, sample data is kinder age cutoff. Observed implementation, the sample data is strictly observed in most schools. Recommendation remarks, sample data is need to extend continuous technical assistance. All applicable provisions on Debit Memorandum Number 014 Series 2021 titled Interim Guidelines on the Preparation, Submission, and Checking of School Forms for School Year 2020-2021 are extended for School Year 2022-2023 with consideration to Paragraph 2.b. Checking of school forms are elaborated in Paragraph 3 of this policy. On behalf of our CID Chief, Ma'am Aurelia B. Marquez, and the entire CID family, I am Abigail A. Constantino saying matamang salamat sa inyong pakikinig.
Thank you po, Ma'am Au Marquez, for presenting the CID issues and concerns. Now let us all proceed to the presentation of issues and concerns of SGOD given by Ma'am Felina Padran.
Recording stopped.
Na-mute na. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Sa ating mga mapagkalingang leaders, kay Sir Roger, kay Sir Pines at saka kay Sir Annie, sa aking partner na isang huwarang empleyado ng Division ng Palawan. Bakit ko nasabi? Dahil kahit siya ay may comorbidities, siya ay talagang pumapasok and completely vaccinated po siya. Si Ma'am Au po iyon. Sa lahat ng nandito sa ating platforms, both dito sa Division Office, mga kasamahan natin dito, at lalong-lalo na po yung dyan sa field, yung iba ay nasa silong ng puno para lang maka-access ng ating online activity. Mayad nga tungadlaw kanindong tanan. Sana'y okay pa rin ano? Kaya pa. We still have how many 1 hour more than or for before 12 o'clock. But before I proceed, gusto kong magpasalamat po muna. 3 grupo ang gusto kong pasalamatan. Una po doon sa nag-host ng ating research proposal defense sa Coron Coastal, Coron Inland, Busuanga, Hispaniola, Brooks Point 1, Batarasawan, Rojas Central at sa Cuyo. Maraming salamat po sa inyo na nag-facilitate po yung ating technical working group po na nandoon. Pangalawa po ay sa Cuyo, Agutaya, Magsaysay Districts sa pangunguna ng kanilang masisipag na PSDSS, si Sir Jobal Joselito Balmonte, si Sir Ariel Gaspay ng Agutaya at kay Sir Rocky Badilla ng Cuyo Districts. Kasama na rin yung aming mga 3 teachers doon, talang hindi kami pinabayaan, si Rafael Magbanwa, kay Sir Jarvis Madarcos, ay Sir Danilia na pala, at saka kay Sir Raymond Abid. Hindi nila kami iniwan sa pag-iikot namin sa 3 distrito ng Cuyo, Agutaya, Magsaysay, na kung saan ay naikot po ng grupo lahat po ng isla. And good news po para doon sa taga Maracanao. Dahil po bumaba na po ang inyong pondo para po sa inyong 4 classrooms na napakaganda po ng plano. You will have solar system, may pagdating po, tingnan nyo na lang po pagdating po ng documents. Sana po ay bantayan niyo po para mapaayos po yung construction para po hindi na po kayo magtitiis po sa inyong eskwelahan. Pangatlo po ay gusto ko pong pasalamatan yung Coron Coastal, Coron Inland, kasama po yung Coron School of Fisheries sa kanila pong hosting. Thank you po Dr. Benjamin Ablasa sa kanyang mga teachers. Talagang napakaganda po ng kanilang choir sa cultural presentation, yung kanilang mga dancers, at saka sa committees po na walang pahinga. At hindi po natin matatawaran yung tulong po ng ating mga PSDSS. Kay Ma'am Heidi, ang sabi ko ay ang PSDS na walang pahinga. Kay Ma'am Nida Tejada, yung PSDS na kahit stress na ay nakangiti pa rin. Kay Ma'am Sofia Villarreal, ating in charge po sa Busuanga District na talagang maaasahan sa oras ng kagipitan dahil siya po ang nag-alalay po sa ating coordination sa bisita natin na pumunta po ng Busuanga. So maraming salamat po sa inyo. So ito po, let's start po sa Youth Formation Program. Issues yung MOA with the Amy Maropa in line with strengthening of GPP implementation through provision of seeds, tools, and materials to selected schools based on criteria set by the Department of Agriculture. So the signed MOA are already forwarded to the DA Maropa office. Then submission of project proposal and letter of intent to the Amy Maropa for GPP establishment, re-establishment of pre-selected schools in SDO Palawan. The submitted project proposal and letter of intent was already received and acknowledged in the Maropa office on May 20, 2022. Updates for additional PSF allocation downloading from Central Office BLSS intended for GPP, edible landscaping project for 3 schools in Coron, Busuanga that have attended the CERCA orientation training. So the request letter are already submitted to the COBLSS office on May 23, 2022. Concerns of our SOCMOM, donation from the Biman Foundation in Corporation of hygiene kits to Santa Monica Elementary School, this is in Coron. Support for AIM, electrification, installation, maintenance room, completion of Coron School of Fisheries. And solar electrification program for Banuang Daan Elementary School, this is also in Coron. Now, this is already for implementation. Now, still another donation from the City Savings Bank, PPC, hygiene kits to Aborla National High School and Magaray School for Philippine Craftsmen. This is also for implementation. Hihintayin nyo lang po yun. Then, Batang Matibay Awardees entries. So, we have submitted for entries to the Central Office last May 19, 2022. Monthly submission of DPDS report. Ano po yung DPDS report? This is DepEd Partnership Data-Based System. Ito, report po nito. Submission of report on or before 6th day of every month. So ito po yung natatanggap po ninyo ng mga tulong from donors, i-report po natin dito. Then, we are concerned updating of the status of in the cleanup fund for typhoon audit affected schools. So submit here in this link. Picture nyo na po kaagad yung link para sa submission. Now, we have new list of recipient schools for batch 8 cleanup fund for typhoon audit affected schools. Memorandum will be released. Hintayin nyo lang po, baka kasama po yung schools ninyo doon sa mga na damage ng typhoon audit. Now, request for SBM certification as requirement for reclassification of application. Huwag na pong pupunta dito sa division. Just contact Sir Eric Inkiliv through the cell phone number here in the screen. Paki-picture na niyo po. There's no need to go to the office just for the certification. Ano lang, online lang po. Then, workshop on the enhancement of basic school management assessment tools with contextualized means of verification. So, we will have 2 participants for this one. This will be Sir Eric, our division focal person, and one from Andres Soriano Memorial Elementary School. This will be conducted on May 31 to June 3 in Metro Manila. A division SBM orientation shall be conducted upon receipt of the enhanced ESB math copy. Now, here is the list of the schools with approved SLCP na hindi pa po nakiklaim. So for El Nido District, pakipicture nila lang po kaagad para po maklaim po dito sa Division Office. Now, another set po. For Balabac District, Hinapakan, Busuanga, Puyo, Dumaran, Taytay, Quezon, Aborlan, Rizal, Rojas, Nara. Paki-picture na lang po, ano? Requesting the PSDS or school heads concerned of the school listed to claim the SLCP from the SGO office. Kindly look for Miss Rose or Mika. Concern of our school health and nutrition section. Reporting of vaccination status of teaching personnel and non-teaching personnel. Now, updating of reports